Hello there fellow humans and welcome to this video, and today I have two very nice replays for you to obviously present my very high skill. No, that's not the point here, even though it kind of is. The point here is I want to show you how to actually carry games, because, you know, with a lot more casuals coming into the game, with the game sort of becoming more popular, unfortunately, there's obviously a lot more casuals going in. And most of them don't know what they're doing, obviously, because there is no proper tutorial system in place, even now. So, you, as a skilled player, hopefully, you watching this video, you know, because you have even found this game on YouTube, which, congratulations. While you're at it, leave a like. I want to tell you a few secrets about how to carry games, you know. It's not that hard, actually. All you have to do is shoot people. And that's what we're going to start doing here in the first game, in the Super Conqueror on... What's this map called? I have no idea. Malinovka, yes. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, we go and focus the target that is the easiest to shoot at in that kind of scenario. Because the less targets there are, the less you're going to have to deal with. If you have a guy on 100 health, he can still do damage. If you kill a guy on 100 health, he can't do damage anymore. So, if you want to carry, take out tanks before you take out hit points, obviously. Then, obviously, what you have to have is map awareness. The thing is, we had a Vickers on our team who completely threw it away by going a 1v3 at the beginning of the battle, and now, obviously, we have a lot of tanks behind us. And it's not very clever to turn around and face them, because then what you're doing is you're just basically running into their momentum. And that's kind of not what we want you to do, right? You just push forward and then try to go around them, so that they have to break their momentum and not you yours. Which makes sense, right? So, we have the two enemy Vickers here, which are pretty much a big problem, but not as big of a problem as the E3, mainly. But obviously the Vickers are annoying, so we do want to take them out here quickly. And now, as you can see on the minimap, the E3 icon pops up, and there he is. And that's basically what you have to do as well if you want to carry. You just have to be very aware of what's happening around you, you know? Now, we have the Vickers in front of me. E50M and E3 are behind me. I don't want to fight them. I have a Vickers in front of me that I can one-shot with HE. So I do that. Now what I do here, I could have done this a bit better. I should have went forward a bit more. If the E3 would have been quick, he could have shot me there. But obviously I reversed down so that I can use the third armor to block the shots. And now I'm here in a 2v2 with the Chieftain, and the Chieftain isn't that healthy. So he basically can be one-shot by the E3. And my goal now is not necessarily to keep the Chieftain alive, but is to keep the enemies away from the Chieftain. Because obviously, the Chieftain is his own dude. He can do his own thing. And now my mission here is to just cause more damage and try to basically stop them from winning, obviously. Now, the E50M does something not very intelligent here, that just straight up push me, because obviously I have more health than him and I have more alpha damage than him. So in that trade fight that he just took, I'm gonna win. And then he goes up and into the Chieftain. So the Chieftain's been very nice there to help for me. And obviously now it's only the E3 left, and before he can turn and shoot me, the Chieftain finishes him off. And that's another tip there. He wasn't playing with me or anything, but if you have a good platoon mate, carrying is a lot harder. Or if you have good players in your team, then you can just do something like that a lot easier. So, to sum up what we had in the first game, we're basically, how do you carry? Well, obviously, you have to do a lot of damage. Then, you have to focus out targets that can do damage to you, you know? Focus the tanks that are the biggest threat to you. You know, for example, 100 HP 50B can do 1200 damage. A 0 HP 50B can't do anything. And then obviously, awareness. Always look at the minimap, always look where is the enemy, where can they shoot, where can he be shot from, all those kind of things is important, no matter if you're trying to carry a game or if you just normally play a game. Awareness is the most important skill that you have to have in this game. You just have to know what's going on. You have to know how the maps work, just know where the enemies are, where can they move. Like, for example, if an E5 is in a certain position, in 20 seconds, where can he be? All those kind of things that you have to think of if you want to be a really good player. For example, that's how I do it, at least. You know, you can just play a mouse and not be penned. That works as well, but that's boring in my eyes. So now, getting to the game here, because obviously currently there's nothing going on, there is indeed 263. Now, I played this game on stream, and right before this game I said that I don't like the tank, and I still don't like it, because, you know, it's a tank destroyer. And tank destroyers aren't very versatile, which is another downside, I'd say. You know, you can carry better in a tank that's more versatile, you know, like a Super Conqueror, like a T-125, like a Chieftain Mark 6, like even an IS-4. They're more versatile so that no matter where the enemy is and what the enemy is doing, you can still be somewhat effective. For example, a mouse, if you have 3 mediums on the enemy team, well, you're fucked. But with other tanks, you can definitely compensate for that, which, I mean, isn't too bad. So, what you can see here, obviously, I'm sitting up on the hill. There's nothing else to do, really. Because, obviously, at this moment, this is probably the best position. It's called the YOLO wagon for no reason whatsoever, because it's actually very, very bad at YOLOing. The armor isn't that great, it doesn't have a lot of gun arc. The Foch is probably the better YOLO wagon, but I don't even want to focus on this tank, because, first of all, I don't like it, and second of all, because that's not the point here. Obviously, I want to talk about how do you actually carry games. And now, as you can see there, the Foch is the biggest problem here, because obviously he's looking at me. I could take a shot at the 57 or something like that, but that doesn't matter. Or the E5, but obviously I have to focus on the targets that are the biggest threat to me. And now, as you look on the minimap, you can see all of the green markers going out, and it's a 2 versus 4. And now, it's pretty good here that I have another pretty, I mean, solid teammate in the IS-7. I mean, he's not very good, but he's gonna die. But still, he's holding up those 2 and allowed me to get in another good shot. Now, I already done 4,000 damage here, which, you know, is kind of what you want to have if you carry, because the more damage you do in the early game, the easier it's gonna be later when they have less hit points. Most of the time, at least. Obviously, because if you don't do anything at the beginning of the game, it's very hard to make that up for that in the end. So now, it is a 2 versus 2 with a, well, 183 on the enemy team, which, you know, is very fun. And, well, a Progetto as well, which is even less fun, because, obviously, very fast, very mobile tank, can pretty much be anywhere at this point. He's been unspotted for a while, so, yeah, that's not very good there for us now, is it? So, the Progetto's doing something here not very stupid, and he's going into the cap circle to put some pressure onto us, because the Progetto probably knows where we are. You know, we're on the A cap, essentially, for those people that do play Supremacy, which isn't me. Because, obviously, that's another thing. Don't play Supremacy if you want to carry, because Supremacy just adds another pointless aspect they have to worry about for no reason whatsoever. I mean, sure, you can win games with Supremacy, you know, where like you have 900 points and, you know, 1v3, but you're not actually carrying, you just... It's not a real win, you know, you just... there, basically. So I would recommend you to turn Supremacy off if you want to have better games, because obviously in Supremacy a lot of the games are being decided by the points rather than damage, so you can even increase your average damage and stuff like that if you turn Supremacy off, so definitely should do that if you want to. Anyway, now, as you can see, the IS-7 heroically threw himself into the cap circle, which, I mean, wasn't really the best option there because he didn't need to, and that's another thing. That's another very important thing. Obviously, we have do a lot of damage early game. We have be very aware of what's happening so that you don't end up being completely destroyed. And then there is another one. Only fight when you have to in the end game. Because obviously, at this point, it's a 1v1. And the 183 is in the cap, so I know where he is, he doesn't know where I am. So I can pick whenever and wherever I want to engage, which is pretty good. He misses, you know, another thing, aim your shots, otherwise you ain't gonna carry. And now, I'm gonna stay around here for a bit and push back into the bush. And especially in a 1v1 situation, this can be very useful. It's called faking out the enemy, obviously. You, like, you know, after about 10 seconds, you go unspotted. And you can use that to deceive the enemy. Like, if you keep going in one direction, but then when the enemy goes unspotted, you wait 4-5 seconds, and then you turn around and go in the other direction. Obviously, the enemy is going to assume that you keep going, but then you turn around and go in the other way. Obviously, if you're against, like, I don't know, a player of a very, very good clan, you have to be very careful, because they might account for that. And if you take a very long time to pull off such a maneuver, then they might get it and then wait for you once you arrive. So, but that's again another part of awareness though. As you can see, another 6.7k damage. Nice carry. Hope you learned a bit more of how to carry the endless pain of, well, the thanks Blitz matchmaking, and hopefully increase your stats as well, because that's cool. You know, you don't have to be a unicum. You just don't have to suck.